my kako. Mahalo for joining us today at Kahale Hoaka for our Ha'awina Paheona, an art lesson. And I'm Kubu Maile from my home on Molokai. Today we're going to be working with Pena Vai. Say it with me. Pena Vai.
Pena Vai.
Maika iloa. That means watercolors or water paints. Now, a lot of times we use watercolors in school and in elementary growing up, but a lot of us don't get a proper lesson on how to use Pena Vai or watercolors. So today we're going to do a quick lesson on how to use watercolors properly and then create a color gradient, which means like a sunset or sunrise, you see different colors kind of spreading and reaching across the sky and blending into each other. So we're going to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure we have the right tools and supplies. So I can't tell you enough that you don't need expensive things. You need a pencil with an eraser. You need a piece of paper. Now I had some good watercolor paper laying around, which is kind of like this really thick paper that has like a texture and it holds the color good. But if you don't have that, this drawing sketchbook that you can find online or at Walmart or wherever near you. Molokai, we gotta order online because we don't have the big stores. But this is a great book to have. It's for drawing, painting, good textured paper. And of course, you can always use copy paper, just regular old copy paper, but you wanna be careful with how much water you use because it's a lot thinner. So that's what you need, paper, pencil, you need a good brush. Now you can find good brushes in simple watercolor sets like this. You don't need anything fancy. Crayola, Prang, that's all you need. Simple. You need a good brush. Usually gives you a brush in the set, or you can go buy some brushes, different size brushes, but you just need a regular size brush. And then, like the one that comes in a set, I like to recycle these containers for water and art projects. So I'm using this to rinse off my brush, and I have water in here. And then I have a Sharpie for later. So let's move on to step one. Okay, so we're ready for step ekahi. First step, what we're gonna do is, if you're outside like me, you're gonna find a little ili to weigh down your paper. You're gonna have everything right in front of you so it's easy to reach. You're gonna decide what you wanna draw. So I'm gonna draw a mango because mangoes have a really pretty gradient of color that goes across. It's like a rainbow, yeah? So I'm gonna make a mango, which is like a ovo or ololaha. Say it with me, ololaha.
Ololaha.
Kind of like the shape of this ili, but a little bit more round. So I'm going to make a ololaha, and I'm going to take my time, and I'm not going to draw heavy. My pencil is real light, so I always tell my keiki that I teach, use an artist hand. Use an artist hand, and that means a real light hand, because when you paint over it, you don't want to see the penny color, you don't want to see the pencil marks, yeah? So you want to do it real light, okay? So that's the first step. Now we have our basic shape. You're going to get some vai, water on top of your brush. You're gonna always do this to your brush. You're gonna take the water off. You don't want it dripping. You want to control your color, okay? And then we're just gonna paint. We're gonna start our gradient. So we're gonna paint inside the line just with vai, just with water, no paint yet. I'm not dripping because when you drip, you lose control. So you're gonna make the vai, and then just the part that's wet, I'm gonna touch it. And if you look, same colors as a mango, ula ula, alani, mele mele, and oma omao. Those are all the colors of the manako, the mango. So I'm going to start with ula ula. I'm going to stay in that same order because that's usually how it looks on the manako, yeah? So I'm going to just get some red. I'm not dripping, just enough, remember? And then you're going to touch and watch the magic happen. And it'll only spread where the water is wet, where the paper is wet with vai. So you just kind of do this and you have fun with it. You make dots and you watch it grow across the paper, get some more penna. Boop, boop, boop. And I always have my haumana, since you guys are my haumana today, to repeat after me. I go, water, 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 colors. Everybody say it with me. Water, 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 colors. Because you want it to be more water than paint. A lot of people make the mistake, and if it's thick and sticky, you didn't use enough water. So you're gonna kind of just fill it in like that. And then we're going to move on to the next color of our gradient, which is, what color is next to the ula ula? Alani. So we're going to move on to alani. So same thing. I'm going to stay in the line, and it's okay if we pull some of that ula ula out, because that's what happens on a mango. Yeah, they kind of carry into each other, the different vaiho, the different colors. So I'm going to go into my alani, my orange part, and I'm going to make alani a little bit bigger, like that. And I'm going to fill it all in with vai. And alani is made out of what two colors? Alani is made out of ula ula and mele mele. When you mix them, you get alani. So it's okay that the ula ula is bleeding into the orange or the alani part. Yeah, and then you just boop boop. And you keep adding your alani, and you're gonna do this all the way until they kind of blend into each other. Okay, so it looks like we're done with step ekahi, but you know, you can always look back and like say, okay, I think I need a little bit more green here. It's kind of light, so I'm just adding some green, adding your last minute things, but you want to make sure like you can see this kind of funky color happened here, and it's pooling up like a little pool of water. And when green and red mix, what color does that make? It makes makue, or brown. And I didn't really want brown on my mango, but sometimes it happens and it's okay. So just be careful how you touch your colors together and how they might bleed into each other. And that's why it's so important to control the vai and how much water you have. So I feel a little happier now. I added some green, and we're gonna let that dry. Okay, so step elua is let it completely dry. Okay, so take a break, go get a snack, and come back and meet me in a little while, okay? All right, we're all pau, so it's time to move on to our next step. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna have step ekolu. We're gonna fill in the background, so all the negative space. So the negative space means where it doesn't have any color, yeah? So we power manako, we power mango. Now I'm gonna move on to the negative space, and I'm gonna make a background. And I wanna make a background that really makes the manako pop in color. So I probably wouldn't wanna use the same colors that's in the mango. We want to use some complementary colors. So I think that maybe some cool colors, because these are like warm colors, yeah, like fire. The red, yellow, and the orange are more warm colors. So I'm going to do some cool colors. Green is a cool color, but I'm going to use like purple and blue. I think that'll be really pretty, make it pop. So I'm going to do the same technique, which is called flooding. When we put water, like I did on the manako, you put water and then you add paint, and you keep doing that to the whole background. And I'm gonna mix the blue and the purple kind of together so they swirl into each other. Okay, so let's move on to step ekolu. Okay, so we gotta make sure this is completely dry, because if we start painting over here and this is still wet, the colors will bleed into each other, and then you're gonna end up with a bunch of brown, which we don't want to happen, because our manako, our mango is ripe. It is not rotten. Okay, so we have some vai. Make sure your vai is still clean, like you can still see clear through my vai, so I'm good. Otherwise, go get new water. And then again, when we use our brush, we're going to use the same artist hand. So we're going to have a light hand no matter what we do through this whole process, okay? So again, I'm going to start out in the corner with just water. Yeah, not too much water, just enough. Spread it out. And then remember, I'm going to use the cool colors, purple and blue. And you only need a simple watercolor set like this, because we can blend colors. Our next ha'awina, pahiona, will learn how to create new colors on our watercolor palette, which a lot of us don't learn in school, but we're gonna learn next time. Right now we're just using the basic colors that the palette gives you. No need mix too much. We'll explore a little bit more later, but you know, whatever you feel like doing, go for it. Experiment, try new things, but we will do a lesson on that for sure. Okay, so I have blue, polu. Now I'm gonna add some purple. So purple's right after the blue. It goes in the rainbow order, yeah? So we're at the end here, and I'm gonna make some purple dots here and there, and I'm gonna just let it blend. Okay, add a little bit more water and see what happens. Okay, Oh, look how pretty that is. Okay, and I want to still leave some of that purple there. Okay? So we're gonna keep doing it all the way across the page. Oh, my kailoa! So we're powered step ekolu, and we did the whole background. So remember, when you fill in the background, you wanna don't leave any negative space, which means don't leave any empty space not painted. You wanna fill in the whole space. If it's still a little bit wet, you can just take your brush, take the water off, get purple, blue, and then just make little like dots and see, fill in those spaces, see where the paint travels to. And it'll just fill in everything, and then now it's ready to dry. So after step ekolu, we're gonna dry it the same as we did after we finish our manako, and then we'll come back. Okay, so get a drink of water. Ahuyo, see you in a little bit. All right, my kailoa. So we're done with step ekolu. We let everything dry, and this is what it should kind of look like. Your own version of this. But now we're gonna take it to the next step, step eha. So we're going to use our Sharpies, and everything should be completely dry before you move on to this step. And we're going to outline our manako, our mango, and then we're going to add some patterns over that with the Sharpie. And that's why you cannot use just like any kind pen, because it might bleed into what's already there. Sharpies are excellent. Or if you have a really good felt tip marker that doesn't bleed, that would be great. So get ready to use your Sharpie. We're going to outline the manako very slowly. Take your time, and it's going to make the colors of your manako really pop against the cool colors in the background. And you see how I'm moving the paper? I'm not trying to make a perfect circle by leaving the paper still. I'm moving the paper because it actually helps you along the way. Even when you cut, when you use scissors, you should move the paper and keep your hand stationary in the same spot. You see that? My hand's staying in the same spot. It's not traveling all over and working hard. It's staying in a comfortable spot, and I'm just moving the paper along. Okay? Alright, so your manako should be outlined like this. And then we're going to add some patterns. I really like triangles. So I'm going to start with triangles, and I'm going to make my patterns go down, kind of in the same line as the gradient color change that's already there. Okay, so I'm going to start with one line, and then I'll show you what it looks like after, and then I'm going to continue and finish my whole manako, and you guys can do the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to start all the way on one side, and I'll do triangle pieces right below each other, like in a straight line going up from the top of the paper down. So you're making a nice straightest line that you can make, and your shapes can go off the edge of the manako. You see that? I made a whole line of triangles. Okay. And then I'm going to make a line of circles next to it. Open circles. I'm not going to color them in. So you see that? And then I'm going to make all the I'm going to create a sequence of these patterns. So maybe I'll make one more circle, and then like 2 more triangles, and then I'll repeat that pattern all the way across. Okay, so we're practicing not just gradients but patterns today, and you can use whatever patterns you want. All right, I think I might add in a swirly, so I'll do a swirly right next to the triangles, and then we'll finish the whole thing. Swirlies are like fancy number 6s, like a fern shoot, like that. You can turn it this way. Depends. Number 9, number 6. But they don't connect. It's just a swirly. Okay, so I'm going to move on to finish the whole thing, and you guys join me, all right? So we're all pow with step number eha, and it looks like our manako is all finished. So this was a really fun ha'awina paheona, or an art lesson on how to use watercolors. First of all, how to use your brush properly, how to use an artist hand, a light hand when you do artwork. We also learned how to do gradients and learned about blending colors. Yeah, not being afraid to let our colors touch and making colors go right across the page, creating a gradient like a mango or a sunset. And then we also did our background. We learned what negative space was and how to fill in our negative space. And then we created patterns. So on my manako, you see patterns, and I created a sequence. So I did circle, triangle, swirly, circle, triangle, swirly, and I continued that sequence all the way across. So that's what my piece looks like. There you go. And I'll show you a photo later at the end so that we can compare. And I would love for you guys to send your finished pieces, a picture of them, to our website, which is kahalehuaka.com. And then we also have our Facebook page. You can message me there, and then I'll post it if you're okay with that, or our IG page. So we're under Kahalehuaka at all of those different platforms and places. Follow us. We have lots of different educational experiences that you guys can join in and learn Olelo Hawaii and some Hawaiian culture along the way. So mahalo for joining me today at Kahalehuaka Ha'awina Paheona. Ahui ho.